Why Dr. Mike hates Greg Doucette. Dr. Mike Israetel. Well, let's see.
I didn't know about this Greg Doucette thing.
Greg Doucette, who is a two-faced lying sociopath sucker. Print that.
I gotta get some popcorn. Guys, go get your popcorn.
It's gonna be a good one.
We'll be back.
Joel, guess what? I agree with you.
Yeah,
Don't exceed your capacity and don't exceed your capacity.
To me, his air and
They haven't even mentioned me yet. Okay, I'm 6 minutes into the video and I'm wondering, why have I got my popcorn out? They haven't even mentioned my name. All I'm hearing is a bunch of stuff about Joel Seedman.
This is not a conversation in which we're going to be friends afterwards because you're a liar. And this is going to be a painful conversation for you.
Basically, Mike Israetel is saying that Joel Seedman is a two-faced liar, that he's a piece of shit, that he's not going to be friends with him after the interview. Then he brings my name up. I don't know what it is, but upon talking about Joel Seedman, he just had to go in and shit on Coach Greg. I mean, I've been living in his head rent-free, and it just had to come out. I mean, the pent-up frustration of Coach Greg saying the reason he didn't win his pro card had nothing to do with his tan. It was probably that he wasn't lean enough. The fact that I've pointed out about the negative side effects that steroids have done and caused Mike Israetel, which is exactly what he said in his videos. The fact that I've talked about those things, perhaps Mike can't handle it anymore. Let's now go and attack Coach Greg.
If you come at it with that intensity, I had a debate back in the day on Omar Isuf's channel with Greg Doucette, who is a two-faced lying sociopath sucker.
Okay, you weren't supposed to talk about that. We were both drunk. It was at band camp, and we said we'd never talk about this. And so, the sucking, really? Like, and so a sociopath. How would you know if I'm a sociopath or not? And so let me have an open mind. Let's say I'm a sociopath. How would you, Mike, know that I am? We've interacted once in person ever. Once. One time at the Olympia. You approached me and deliberately made fun of me. You made fun of my voice. You joked about me. You put me down. And what did I do? I was a good sport because, hey, it's a YouTube video.
All right, guys, I'm here with Greg Doucette. Coach Greg.
Harder than last time.
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic.
That's awesome. What do you think's the best part of the Olympia?
I would say meeting the fans, to be honest.
You're poking fun at the expense of me, and I'm just going along with it. I didn't feel like I was being a sociopath in that one interaction that we've ever had. And after the recording was done, I thought we'd have a talk, but no, Mike then goes out and makes more videos. If the people were to look at you versus Coach Greg and had to vote on which of the two of us is a sociopath.
Like all I feel is rage and frustration.
And so you're in the woods all alone and you're approached by either Coach Greg, a bear, or Mike Israetel. Who are you choosing? Now I get it. Some of you are choosing the bear.
I fantasize about meeting that person in real life and then eat their organs.
But who's choosing Mike Israetel? Who?
Intrusive thoughts. I think about violence all the time. Man, it'd be cool to like fight a dog with just your hands and kill it. Like, what? Why is that in my head?
Remember, he can't experience normal human emotions. He said it himself. I experience normal human emotions. Sometimes I get angry, sometimes I get sad, sometimes I'm happy. I experience a different array of emotions. I certainly am not a sociopath. Mike Israetel, on the other hand, if we're going to compare myself to him, who seems to have a better grasp of his feelings? Sociopaths, they feel no remorse for anything. I've made many apologies to different people in my life. Mike Israetel, he doesn't know me. And so how is he going to sit there and invent and make up lies? Remember, this is the same guy that said, Coach Greg, he goes out there and tells everyone he's a doctor when he's not. I've already made the video on that. Mike literally lied. I mean, are you going to tell me that he never watched a single one of my videos? That he actually thought I lied about being a doctor?
Yeah. Randomly, Samson could be a fucking sociopath and like, you know, doing it all for the money like Greg Doucette or whatever.
And so is he making up lies right now? And he's saying, hey, I got the receipts. I've got all the chats of all this stuff in the DMs.
The way Greg operates explicitly, and I do have text message confirmation of this.
Mike, why don't you just show everything? I don't care. Show every single comment. Post your video and read out the chats from me and I from I don't know how many years ago, 4 years ago. Read everything. Let people decide what it is. I mean, after all, when you asked me all those questions and I said, hey, Mike, I'd love to answer all those. Let's get on a phone call and I'll answer those questions. No, I want everything in writing. What normal human adult says, I want everything in writing? Hey, are we having a problem? Let's get on a phone call and talk it out. No, I want it all in writing. Why? So you can psychoanalyze the writing. At least 50% of conversation, communication amongst people is nonverbal. You can get a feeling of the tone, the delivery, what are they saying, how are they acting? Especially in person, you can actually see that person. But no, I won't do a video with you. I won't record with you. I won't do anything. I'm here in Michigan. I thought it was Detroit, but I'm here in Michigan. I'm told you're within driving distance. You want to get on a phone call, a podcast, a visit, you want to do a video, you want to talk this out, I'm here. We can do this. I'm literally in Detroit.
He talked mad shit in his videos with his fake voice about how stupid I was and how wrong I was about volume or whatever the it was about.
And so Mike is so butthurt on the fact that I made a video about him. Rather than being complimented that I chose to make a video to talk about his theories, and back in the day he would believe he was talking about how many reps in reserve he should do, and he was saying 3 reps in reserve is good, maybe 1 rep reserve, and as you know, I said, train harder than last time. And so my motto was, guys, you're not training hard enough. Look around the room. If you're not training harder than the majority of people in the gym, you are not training hard enough. Mike would say 1 IR, 3 IR, reps in reserve, this, and it was a bunch of scientific mumbo jumbo. And I simply tried to simplify it. Most of you are not training hard enough. Most of you overestimate how close to failure you actually are training. And so rather than counting 1 IR, 2 IR, 3 IR, why not just train harder than last time? And so he didn't like that. And so he wanted to debate me in a video. And so he contacted his friend Omar Yusuf, and so we had a debate.
You see, Mike Israetel reached out to me and said, Omar, will you host this conversation between myself and Greg Doucette on your channel? I said, absolutely.
I went to the debate. I asked several questions. I answered the questions to the best of my ability. And I said, this is why I think people should train my way. And he answered why he thinks people should train his way. And so we talked about volume. How many sets did you do? And I said, you know, once you lose 10% of the strength that you have for a set, that you should be done. And so let's say you're bench pressing 200 pounds for 10 reps. If you can't bench press 180 pounds for 10 reps, then you should stop that lift.
If you've lost 10% of your strength, you're training hard enough that you can probably go home.
And so Mike said, no, that's not enough. You need all these different variables. You should be feeling the tension of the muscle and the pump and all these different things. And I'm like, most people aren't smart enough to feel that. Most people just go to the gym workout and they don't know what they're feeling.
I'm just trying to give a suggestion of how you would know. You're also giving a suggestion. And so pick the one you like.
Mine seems to be based on proxy indicators for hypertrophy, the pump, perception of tension in the muscle, the amount of fatigue and soreness and performance. Yours seems to be based on the 10% number. And I just, one of those might be more precise than the other, and one of those might auto-regulate better to an individual over time than the other.
See, the average person, when you said what you just said, doesn't understand that.
He also said, I think, that the proper amount of volume is anywhere from 2 to 16 sets. There was such a range that to me, I was like, is that really beneficial? Somewhere between 2 and 16 sets, that's ideal. I didn't see how that's any worse than me saying you should train harder than last time, or that you should train until you've lost 10% of the strength in the set. But regardless of that, did Mike win the debate? Did I win the debate? It's up to you to decide. It doesn't matter. The Rock knows it doesn't matter. And so let's give Mike the win. Mike with the PhD, Greg hungover in Cuba. Mike, you win the debate. I don't care. Just like Mike, you have more followers than me, you have more money than me. Well, I think you do. You're doing better on social media than me, and so you win. It's okay. I'm okay with my masculinity. I can admit that you've done better on social media than me. And so what's next? How do we move on from this? And so Mike, I think he's not going to be satisfied until he completely turns into the Thing. You guys all know the Fantastic Four, the big Urger, the Hulk. Well, he was a normal person, and then some chemical explosion happened, and it turned him into the Thing. And so Mike, well, the chemical explosion that he's been exposed to, it's performance-enhancing drugs, namely steroids. It's altering his mind. He himself talks about this.
I wake up in the morning afraid of the rest of my day.
And so what I've seen, what I've noticed is that he's making statements, comments that I don't think a normal, rational man would make. And so they're making a video about Joel Seisman, and he has to come out and say, I need to talk about Coach Greg. I need to tell everyone he's a sociopath, that he's a two-faced liar, and that he sucks. And so, okay, Mike's exposed our little secret. I don't care, Mike. It doesn't bother me. And so now what? Is he going to say anything that matters? Well, let's get back to this.
So when we got face to face in a debate, I mirrored that energy, and he turned off his parrot voice and went straight into nice guy agreeable mode.
And so when we got into the debate, rather than using the parrot voice to high voice, I used the voice I make in every interview. How many of you watch all my videos? How many of you see me do collabs? It felt cool to float like that. Thought about the question for as long as I possibly could. There was no time when I was ever left alone, ever. If you're used to that, then it makes sense that you're gonna wanna be with other people. And everyone says, oh, look, this is his real voice. And so I use my real voice. I'm having a discussion. Remember, when we make YouTube videos, we're larger than life. We have to express ourselves with more energy. This is what I do. It's so that I can captivate an audience, so that I can get them to want to listen to me. Did it work? I have over 2 million followers. I certainly think it worked. Remember, I've been doing videos since 2006. Didn't get popular until about 5 years ago. And so you can hate the voice, you can like the voice, but when I do interviews, I'm just being myself. I'm talking, I'm trying to learn, I'm having a discussion. And so that is what we did. Now, at the end of the video, people could see that you weren't being very nice to me. You were yawning, acting bored, being very rude. Now, you admit you're trying to put me down, trying to embarrass me, trying to do everything. I just went up for discussion. I thought this is gonna be fun. So you think I'm a sociopath because I make videos about people because I like to use drama to engage the viewer. They come and they listen and they learn. My videos are highly educational. Remember, I was a school teacher, and although I don't have a PhD like you, I do have my master's. I do know a thing or two about bodybuilding, dieting, getting in shape, all that kind of stuff. And so I got the vibe that because I didn't have a PhD, he saw me as lesser, that nothing I said was gonna matter, but that's all in the past. Since that time, 2 years later, we actually did a 2-hour interview together from distance. I posted multiple videos about this. I thought it went over really well. Anything to add before we start?
Thanks for having me on, Greg. It's an honor.
Awesome. And it's my first interview. So he's my first guest. Shocking, I know, but it's true. I would say 95% of the things that Mike says, we both agree on. Shockingly, we almost agree on everything. And so after that video, I thought things were all in the past, that there was no bad blood. But apparently, I was wrong. I mean, he made fun of me when we met each other up at the Arnold's. You've seen that video. If anyone watched that video, what did it look like? Did I not look like I was a good sport? Did I look like a sociopath?
How do you like the impression? Is he doing good?
How did Mike look in that interview? Remember, Mike approached me. I volunteered to be in his video. He made fun of me the whole time. Was it okay? Was I a bad person there? I don't think so. And so since that time, I'd asked him to be in my videos. Didn't really say anything, didn't really want to do it. This is fine, doesn't want to do that. It's his choice. But then he's called me a liar, a sociopath in multiple videos. He thinks he knows me, but yet he's never talked to me in person. Other than making fun of me, other than asking in writing to answer his questions, but he's never actually had a face-to-face phone call with me. Now, I've met a number of YouTubers, and in general, these YouTubers say that I'm the most genuine, authentic person they've ever met. Not like above average by a little bit. They're like, I can't believe how authentic you are.
My lesson from Greg, you should lean all your life toward being the most authentic version of yourself.
Oh, that's 100% the thing. You can't be balanced if you're not yourself, because you're pretending. You're going through life as a fake person. That's not what you want. But in this video, he's saying I'm the least genuine person in existence. How is it that all of these YouTubers have a different perception of me than him? And remember, he hasn't met me. And so is it possible that if Mike actually were to spend a few hours with me and get to know me, that he'd have a completely different perception? That perhaps, dare I say it, that he would even like me? Perhaps not enough to suck my cock or anything, but would he like me?
Almost all the comments were like,
can I get some
my God,
popcorn?
this Mike guy's a asshole, and this Greg guy just came to the conversation to try to learn.
Now, Mike, remember when you said that when you're on a lot of steroids, androgens, and so on, that your interpretation of the world, it might be flawed? You're literally saying you're reading all these comments and saying, hey, Mike Israetel's an asshole and that guy's a nice guy. You're saying yourself, let me rewind it.
When this Greg guy just came to the conversation to try to learn. No, he didn't. He's trying to learn shit. He's like just totally two-faced.
Mike, is it possible that the people writing those comments were right? That I actually was trying to learn something, that was trying to present information, and that I wasn't just trying to battle and trying to be two-faced, that I didn't have some ulterior motive? Is it possible that I was literally being my authentic self? The real person that I am, that you've never met? And so what's more possible? That everyone's got it wrong. But yet you're so much smarter than everyone else that you figured me out. That I'm a sociopath, a sucker, a two-faced liar. You really might want to get off all the androgens and do what you said yourself. Hey, I have to look at this from an outside perspective and think, is there a reason why I think this? Is it possible that I got him wrong?
But that fake nice guy act, that like, oh yeah, no, I'm just here to learn and I totally hear you. I altered my approach with Joel Seedman, the Greg Doucette thing. I was like, oh God damn it. Like I fell hook, line, and sinker for that.
And so you're hearing this. He's saying with the Greg Doucette interview, I fell hook, line, and sinker for that. No one is ever going to get me again. I'm learning from that. I will never be duped. I will never be deceived. And so when I did the Joel Seedman interview, I thought, not twice. Fool me once, but not fool me twice. Mike, do you not think you might have just gotten it wrong? Did I really impact your life so much in that interview that it led to a downward spiral of thinking that no one can be authentic, no one can be genuine? That anytime somebody says something different than you're saying, that makes that person a bad person? I don't think so, Mike. I personally think that the reason you believe this is because of the steroids. Many of you are going to say this is bullshit, that's cap, there's no way, dude just needs to touch grass. But I'm telling you, just because I'm an old man, I'm a boomer, doesn't mean that I don't have valid opinions, that I can't be a normal person just like you are, that just because we perhaps speak in a different way, that I can't have a valid opinion, that I can't really be my authentic self.
With Joel Seedman, I was just doing the Socratic method, where I was like, explain to me what you're thinking.
So Mike, I'm not using a method. When I talk to people, there's no method. I haven't studied psychological warfare. I'm just Coach Greg. I literally just show up and I wear my heart on my sleeve and I tell you what I think. I have the balls to say what some people wouldn't say. I know it perhaps is hurtful. I know it might be painful to hear. For example, when I say that you didn't win your pro card because you weren't lean enough, I know it's not fun to hear. It's much more fun to hear, you know, you didn't have the proper tan. It's hard to hear that your diet, it didn't work, that eating 3,000 plus calories, not doing cardio, it's not enough. That you had to suffer another 3 weeks to get into the condition you'd need to win an IFBB pro card. It's hard to hear that, especially where you're on performance-enhancing drugs, namely androgens from the steroids. You've said it yourself.
An inability to perceive a broad spectrum of positive human emotion. I live in a really beautiful area in Michigan, and I walk out and there's this pond and these trees, and I know that I like looking at them, but it's a memory to me.
You couldn't even appreciate the pond and the trees outside your house. You have a vague memory of what it felt like. There was some serious shit going on. And when you describe how you feel on steroids, the feeling you get when you're reading DMs and so on and comments and you literally want to like hurt these people, I don't feel these things. Everything I read is a gift. If somebody insults me on social media, that is a gift. And I never take things personally. And everything you say about me, the negatives and so on, I know that you're saying this because this is what you personally believe based on your circumstances, and so it doesn't offend me. Perhaps you're having a bad day, week, year, perhaps you're raised in a different way, you're trying to fight for admiration from so many people and you just don't feel worthy. I don't know what it is, but anything you say is a gift. And frankly, you doing this video about me, it's just getting more attention and I'm able to make a response video, and so everybody wins. And so it's a gift. And many people are gonna write in the comment section, you get him, you showed him. I like the video. Why wouldn't I want to hear this?
Explain to me what your thing is that you think, and he would. And I go, okay, so some folks say that this part that you explained doesn't make any sense. Can you explain that? Because of these studies and the way I think about things, and he would just stutter and stumble and try to be like, well, I'm saying what you're saying. I was like, well, that's exactly what I'm saying. And to come back around, just like with you, you come back around and he tries to fiddle and he come back around, tries to fiddle. And then he looks like a fucking doofus. He looks nice, like a nice guy, but he looks like people are like, I don't even think he stands for anything at this point.
And so I don't have a Socratic method. I don't even know what that is. I haven't read any books on how to do an interview. I'm not trying to win when I do interviews. I'm just trying to talk and share opinions. My goal at the end of the interview is for the people that are listening, the audience, to learn something. Whether you explained it better or I explained it better, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just trying my best. There's no method, there's no psychological warfare. I'm not playing 4D chess with you while I'm doing an interview. I'm just being me, the authentic version of myself.
So he started the talking, and the debate happened because I was like, oh, he's talking. Let's do the goddamn thing. I love face-to-face debate. Turns out Greg not a big fan of them and made pretty close to 0 sense in the debate, but he seemed like he was there to learn and listen. I seemed was very aggressive. I wanted to embarrass him intellectually because he's a moron and he's wrong a lot.
And so he wanted to embarrass me intellectually. He says I'm a moron. He also says Greg was there to learn and listen. The audience seemed to say Greg was there to learn and listen. He was being, basically, in his words, an asshole. But I'm the sociopath. Mike, you might want to rewatch your video.
And he came at me with the what if I can just attack random people on the internet for sharing their kind thoughts? Oh my God, what the would I ever do that for? He came at me first.
And so he's now saying he attacked me first. He attacked me for having random thoughts on the internet. I literally have a YouTube channel where I talk about current fitness trends, things that are going on. I talk about various topics that are of interest. And so Mike was talking about volume and how many reps in reserve you should have. I was talking about how hard you should train, that you should train harder than last time. I feel like my methods are just as valid at helping the majority of people as his are. Maybe they're not, maybe they are. But I certainly don't think that I deserve to be called a sucker, a two-faced liar, a sociopath, and the list goes on.
And I came at him hard, but almost no one. There were like 5% of comments were like, get him, Mike, that stupid video he made. And other people be like, what video? Most people, that was the first video they saw. They saw Greg coming in as a nice guy. They saw me coming in as an asshole. That's all they ever needed to hear. And I still see things every now and again in like YouTube comments, people are like, yeah, the Greg guy seems kind of weird. He does seem like a genuine guy. He may be the least genuine person I've ever had the displeasure of interacting with.
The least genuine guy, as in the least authentic guy, he's ever had the pleasure of interacting with. When I literally have people, for example, Damo.
Because I'm a twin, everyone was with me all the time. I was basically never alone, ever, like ever, not at all. You basically get used to that, but now that I'm an adult, I don't feel alone because I have my friends.
Damien the fat ass, he stayed at my house. We have Eric Janicki, who's also friends with this guy. Even Zach Tallender, literally the man you're being interviewed by right now, he doesn't dislike me. He doesn't think I'm what you're saying. And so what's more plausible? That everyone else has got it wrong and that you got it right? Or that maybe you've been on steroids for too long and you need to come off?
That's the reality, but he played it well, and kudos. That was great. He did great.
Based on what I'm hearing right now, Mike feels upset that he wasn't smart enough back then to understand that he had to win over the crowd emotionally. He thinks that I had some kind of, was it a Socratic method of winning over the crowd, that I had it all planned, and that I somehow won the debate, unrightly so, because the crowd liked me more than him based on how he treated me. And to this day, 4 or 5 years later, he's still carrying a grudge about it. I think that's the problem. I think he can't let it go. Listen, Mike, I don't care about the debate. It's in the past. All this stuff, it's in the past of me. I don't care. We agree on about 95% of the information. 95% of things we see eye to eye on. And so what is this really all about? When you watch my videos, do you really disagree with the majority of what I'm saying? Like, watch back, pick a random 10 or 15 of my videos. Watch them and think, is this one of the guys that agrees with me the most? If you actually talk to me, especially I know you're into philosophy, you read a lot of books like Coach Greg, and you're a deep thinker like Coach Greg. If you really thought about it a little bit longer and you thought, is Greg more like me than unlike me? Is it possible that I've misjudged him? Is he perhaps actually being authentic and I just got him wrong? I think you'd be very surprised. I could list, and I'm not going to list them all right now, several people on social media, guys that people have so much respect for, that if they knew what they actually said, what they talked about, the way they thought, they'd be shocked. They would not want to be friends. I'm not going to talk about this. I don't want to be seen as a bad person. I talk about people enough. But remember, when I talk about people, it's to educate. And as I previously said, you learn more from debate than you do from hate. And so when I'm debating you, I'm not hating you. I'm just expressing myself.
Imagine, it's like when Batman like beats the shit out of a mobster who like stole and did unspeakable things for years, but also like had a couple dummy charities he would crank a couple million to every couple of years. Batman looks like the bad guy. And that's kind of the thing with Batman, is he would go after people and he'd look like the bad guy.
And so in this analogy, is Mike Batman? Am I Robin? Can I be Batman? Actually, could I be Superman? Or the Invisible Man? Or that stretchy arm guy? I like that guy. He's kind of cool. Because I do believe Mike is the Thing. The guy that was the big rock. The rock guy. Does he not look a little bit like Mike Israetel? It's a very heavy, stocky, strong looking guy. Resemblance to me is there. Maybe it's not. And so if you don't want to have your brain turn to mush, rather than using steroids, could we not use GO2 Max and Turk Builder? I know you're not going to get the same kind of gains, but it perhaps will prevent you from hating the world so much. You'll think that people can actually be their authentic selves. I don't know. This is just my theory. Please consider getting Turk Builder and GO2 Max. These are my top 2 selling supplements, and you guys are gonna write, oh, all he cares about is money. Does anyone on YouTube who makes videos not wanna make money? Obviously, it's a thing we do. Mike Israetel in this video is wearing a shirt that says RP on it. He wants you to get his app. He's gonna make more money. This is what we do. When you make a video, if you have ads turned on, you are making money from ads. I make more money from selling supplements, formerly from selling cookbooks. I still provide the same valuable information. Now remember, it's not just about making money for me. I've given away nearly 100,000 free diet and training programs. And so if you're still interested in the free diet and training program, and it's close to 50 pages, and there's multiple specific programs depending if you're male or female, the calories you need and so on, you can get the free plan. Remember, it's free. Can I point that out again? It's free. Click the link in the description, join the 300,000 plus newsletter subscribers. Let me know in the comments section where you picking Mike Israetel, Coach Greg, or the Bear, and which do you think is more likely? Am I more likely to be a sociopath, or do you think Mike is more likely to be a sociopath? I'm excited to read your comments. Perhaps I'll have a poll on Instagram. It'll say, do you agree? And you will now know why. Remember, we're here in Detroit. I'm with Transcend. I partnered up with them. If you want to get your blood work done and try to prevent yourself from ending up like Mike Israetel, perhaps they'll give you HRT from monitored by a doctor, not crazy doses, peptides and so on, then click the link in the description. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost you out, and please like this video if you liked it. Watch one of the 2 bloops. And until next time, I am out.